अस्सलाम वालेकुम, आप देख रहे हैं पाक जज्बो न्यूज। देखते हैं आज की ताज़ा तरीन खबरें।
मेरी एक अगर बैठ जाएं तो सर आप नहीं,
मैंने तो शुरू में कहा था बैठ जाएं, आप किसी की मानते नहीं।
मैं अच्छा इसका जवाब दे देता हूँ लाइटर टोन में। स्पीकर साहब नहीं, जो रूल्स कहेंगे ना आपको उसको आपने फॉलो करना है। स्पीकर तो जब रूल्स वायलेट होते फिर कहते हैं, अब वायलेट ही क्यों करते हैं रूल्स। खैर सर मैं वापस आ जाऊँ। बिल्कुल ऐसी चीज़ें मैं एक इसका हल निकाल सकता हूँ अगर सब माने। ये किताब हमारी रूल्स की कहती है कि बजट जब प्रेजेंट हो, इसलिए बजट प्रेजेंट होने के लिए अलग से सेशन बुलाया जाता है। चीफ मिनिस्टर बजट प्रेजेंटेशन का दिन मुकर्रर करता है। इसमें ना गवर्नमेंट का कोई रोल होता है, चीफ मिनिस्टर का रोल होता है, और वो दिन मुकर्रर कर दिया और टाइम मुकर्रर कर दिया है जो कि शुरू हो चुका है। मैं एक इसका हल दूंगा कि प्रोसेस ये बजट का जो है प्रेजेंटेशन का 1-1.25 घंटा लगेगा, वो हो जाए। आप हाउस अजर्न करें और इमीडिएटली दोबारा हाउस बुलाएं। इमीडिएटली दोबारा हाउस बुलाएं। हम बैठ के इस करारदाद पे बात करते हैं और इस करारदाद को एक अच्छी तरीके से जो कि अपोजिशन और ट्रेजरी दोनों मिलकर पेश करें ताकि हम मुत्तहिद हो। खामखा इसमें झगड़े की क्या बात है, कानून भी फॉलो हो जाएगा और ये काम भी हो जाएगा।
जी साबिर साहब अब रहने दें उनको, बैठे रहने दें, होगी बात ना। उन्होंने डेस्क भी बजा दिया, एग्री भी कर दिया, आप खामखा जी जी। नाउ प्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ बजट स्टेटमेंट ऑफ द ईयर 2025-26। साबिर साहब इस तरह ना करें, इस तरह ना करें। देखें हो गया ना, हो गया, क्लियर हो गया। आप तशरीफ रखिए। हमने एक चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब ने एक हल भी निकाल के दे दिया। आप अपने नाम की लाज भी नहीं रखते। साबिर नाम है आपका, सब्र करें। आप तशरीफ रखिए, तशरीफ रखिए साबिर साहब। साबिर भाई तशरीफ रखिए। नाउ प्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ द बजट स्टेटमेंट फॉर द ईयर 2025-26 and the supplementary budget statement for the year 2024-25. Honorable Chief Minister may please present the budget statement for the year 2025-26 and the supplementary budget statement for the year 2024-25.
Sir, I rise to present the budget statement for the year 2025-26 and the supplementary budget statement for the year 2024-25.
The budget statement are presented. Now the budget speech by the Honorable Chief Minister. Budget statement.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। स्पीकर साहब, मैं अपनी बजट स्पीच शुरू करने से पहले आज सुबह जो इस्राइल का हमला हुआ है ईरान के ऊपर, जो एक अनप्रोवोक्ड अटैक था जिसमें ईरान के आर्मी चीफ, उनके न्यूक्लियर साइंटिस्ट और कई मासूम शहरी शहीद हुए हैं। मैं इस इस्राइल के इक़दाम की बहुत शदीद तौर पे इसको कंडेम करता हूँ और मैं आलम इस्लाम बल्कि पूरी दुनिया से दरख्वास्त करता हूँ अपनी असेंबली की तरफ से कि इस अनप्रोवोक्ड अटैक का नोटिस लिया जाए और हर मुल्क कोशिश करे कि ये जंग डीएस्केलेट हो। इसलिए ये ना सिर्फ ईरान के लिए ख़तरे की बात है, पूरे रीजन के लिए ख़तरे की बात है, बट तो ये मैं कहूँगा कि दुनिया के लिए ख़तरे की बात है। इसके साथ साथ कल, और जैसे हमने अभी खुद फैसला किया है, अगर अपोजिशन नहीं चाहती है कि उस फैसले पे कारामद हो तो उनकी मर्जी है। हम अजर्न करने के बाद एक रेजोल्यूशन भी पास करेंगे आज दोबारा असेंबली सेशन बुला के। उसके साथ साथ जो कल एयर इंडिया का क्रैश हुआ है अहमदाबाद के एयरपोर्ट पे, मैं वो लोग जो इसमें हलाक हुए हैं उनकी फैमिलीज़ के साथ हमदर्दी जाहिर करना चाहता हूँ। हमारे इख्तिलाफात हो सकते हैं, हम ताज़ा ये एक जंग से गुजरे हैं, लेकिन इंसानी हमदर्दी के हवाले से और ये देखते हुए कि वो हमारे पड़ोसी हैं, मैं उनकी फैमिलीज़ के साथ इस असेंबली की तरफ से हमदर्दी का इजहार करता हूँ। सर, मेरे लिए ये एक निहायती एक ऑनर है कि मैं मुसलसल 10वीं बार इस असेंबली में सिंध का बजट पेश कर रहा हूँ। मैं आज तक मजमूई तौर पे 12 बार असेंबली में बजट पेश कर चुका हूँ और इंशाअल्लाह आगे भी ये करता रहूँगा जब तक ये असेंबली के मेंबरान, जब तक अल्लाह ताला, जब तक मेरी पार्टी की लीडरशिप चाहेगी। सर, मैं अपनी बजट स्पीच पे आता हूँ। इट इज़ अ मैटर ऑफ ग्रेट ऑनर फॉर मी टू राइज बिफोर दिस ऑगस्ट हाउस to present the annual budget of rupees 3,450 billion for the financial year 2025-26 for the province of Sindh. I also feel privileged to represent the great people of Sindh who have entrusted Pakistan People's Party with the mandate to develop this province for them and for generations to come. Pakistan People's Party has always made untiring efforts to live up to the expectations of the people, for which we draw strength from the vision of Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and Shaheed Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto. People's love and trust on Pakistan's People's Party, its leadership, and the splendid work from 2008 to 2023 is evident from the resounding mandate in general elections of 2024, which has reinvigorated Pakistan People's Party's mission to serve the people of the province selflessly. The Pakistan People's Party secured more votes than ever before in Sindh. PPP's vote bank in Sindh saw a rise in its share from 38.7% in 2018 general elections to 45.5% in 2024, and thereby it commands an absolute majority in the Provincial Assembly of Sindh. We also express our unwavering commitment to embark on a journey to unlock our province's tremendous potential for greater prosperity and development under the guidance of President Asif Ali Zardari and dynamic leadership of Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. Mr. Speaker, before I move forward, I would like to thank Almighty Allah for granting us protection, honor, and the strength to stand tall in the face of aggression by the enemy. In recent days, our beloved Pakistan was tested. Responding to unprovoked and unjustifiable hostility, our brave armed forces, our army, navy, and the Air Force rose with courage, professionalism, and unmatched resolve. In a matter of hours, they transformed aggression into deterrence, fear into resilience, and threats into a renewed national unity. To our valiant defenders, I say, Sindh salutes you. Pakistan salutes you. You have not only safeguarded our borders, but lifted the hearts of 240 million Pakistanis. Let me also express deep and sincere appreciation to the nations who stood by us, countries that raised their voice for peace, called out injustice, and stood in solidarity with Pakistan's right to defend itself. Your support reaffirmed that in times of trial, true friendships are revealed. To our political leadership across party lines, thank you. In the heat of crisis, we found consensus. The Parliament stood tall. The Federation stood united. And together we showed the world that the security of Pakistan transcends politics. To our media, responsible, vigilant and patriotic, thank you for guiding public sentiment with wisdom and for standing as a pillar of national morale. To the people of Sindh and the people of Pakistan, your prayers, your patience and your faith gave our defenders the strength they needed. Our unity is our shield. And once again, I would like to thank Allah Ta'ala for His countless blessings on our beloved country, its people, its forces, the Pakistan People's Party and its leadership. So the outgoing financial year has been one of consolidation and fiscal responsibility. I thank the members of this House and the Provincial Cabinet for supporting our austerity drive and reform agenda during uncertain times. The year began with a balanced budget of rupees 3.506 trillion with an IMF mandate primary surplus target of rupees 299 billion. The province faced a rupees 282 shortfall in NFC transfers, receiving only rupees 1,363 billion out of rupees 1,645 billion projected until May 2025. Despite this, the government released rupees 666 billion in development funding, is on track to utilize rupees 500 billion by the year end, the highest ever development expenditure, will complete approximately 1,494 development schemes, another all-time high, allocated record high funds to health and education, transforming service delivery across Sindh. Mr. Speaker, despite daunting fiscal and economic pressures, the government of Sindh remains resolute and forward-looking. With discipline, vision and people's trust, we will continue delivering progress and prosperity across the province. So the government's top priorities, I will start with the health department with a motto of health for all. Like every year, the Sindh government has upheld its promise to deliver quality and free healthcare services to the people of the province. This year, the health budget was pitched at rupees 344 billion, which has been utilized for critical patient care and expansion services. We have ensured that every penny serves its rightful purpose, improving lives. I will list out the major institutes which have performed exceptionally well during the year. The NICVD has treated 1.4 million patients in the current financial year. And out of this, more than 10%, 160,000 are from other provinces. The key achievements include 10,000 plus emergency angioplasties, 1,450 pediatric heart surgeries, 333,760 OPD consultations. The services of NICVD are now extended to our sister province, our neighboring province of Balochistan in Quetta for pediatric care. The Sindh Institute of Cardiovascular Disease, SIVD, now has a network of 10 hospitals, 29 chest pain units, 14 cath labs, offering over 2 million treatments in the current financial year. This includes 31,852 angiographies, 1,608 adult heart surgeries, 1,618 pediatric interventions. Our hospital in Gambat, the Peer Abdul Qadir Shah Institute of Medical Sciences, is a center of innovation. Here, only in the current financial year, we have done 308 liver transplants, with a total to date of 1,277 liver transplants, 44 transplants, kidney transplants in the current financial year, with a total of 344 to date, 51 bone marrow transplants, state-of-the-art liver tower, neuro complex, robotic surgeries, and jail ward have been completed. Another shining star in our health services is the Sindh Institute of Child Health and Neonatology, where we strive to save newborn lives across Sindh. The SICHN network has increased to more than 700 beds across Karachi, Sakhar, Ladkano, Benazirabad and other locations. This is the largest network in the world for children's health. It has 262 incubators, 114 pediatric ICU beds and 269 ventilators. As I said, there's no institute throughout the world who can boast these numbers. Our Jinnah Postgraduate Medical Center, over the last 13 years, the bed capacity of JPMC, NICH and NICVD has almost doubled from 2,092 beds to 4,041 beds right now. We cater for an annual patient load of 4 million. The budget has been increased to rupees 32 billion. It's the only place in the world where free CyberKnife treatment is provided. We have, in August 2024, from the government of Sindh funds, added a third CyberKnife, which is the state-of-the-art machine and is being used to treat patients with cancer. There's construction underway for Bilqis Abdul Sattar Edi breast radiation bay, a woman-only radiotherapy unit, and renovations and robotic surgery units are added. Mr. Speaker, the extensive and inclusive investment in the health sector reflects our unwavering belief that access to health care is not a privilege but a right. The SIUT is a beacon of free, dignified health care through community-government partnership. The SIUT, supported by the government of Sindh, stands today as South Asia's largest public sector health organization. Over the past 54 years, it has touched the lives of over 35 million patients across the country. With 1,600 beds, 82 departments, and approximately 400 dialysis machines. SIUT is the largest dialysis center in Pakistan, serving 30% of the country and 60% of Sindh's dialysis patients. It has performed over 7,500 free kidney transplants and provided lifelong care to patients. Some of SIUT's key milestones include 104,477 surgeries performed, including 759 robotic procedures, 238,152 dialysis sessions, 12.2 million lab tests, and 547,735 radiology tests, 28,350 cancer therapy sessions, 4.2 million patients treated free of cost this year across 10 centers, with 70% from Sindh. With US support, SIUT has significantly expanded. The Mehrasa complex undertakes 62,281 dialysis sessions and 4,586 surgeries. There's the Kathor Primary Health Center, the satellite dialysis units in Garden, Nazmabad and Shah Faisal, SIUT Sakhar, SIUT Ladkano, and support to Nawabshah and Shikarpur, Benazir Institute of Urology and Transplant and 10-bed unit benefiting 2,389 patients. In collaboration with Indus Hospital and Health Network, we remain committed to universal healthcare access. With US support, Indus Hospital has been able to become one of Pakistan's largest children cancer center with 2,500 children treated annually. Indus now provides hundreds of cochlear implants, giving hearing impaired children a new life. Leadership in prosthetics and knee replacement, emergency service treating thousands of trauma infections and accident patients daily, integrated maternal neonatal care reaching the most vulnerable women and newborn. Sir, the government of Sindh is reshaping the landscape of health in Pakistan. Sindh is not just meeting expectation, it is leading the way. Mr. Speaker, now I come to law and order. This year, the allocation for law and order has been increased from 125 billion to 163 billion. An unprecedented commitment that enabled workforce expansion, technology adoption, operational capability, and on-ground presence. Street crime, once synonymous, Karachi once synonymous with street crime, has witnessed measurable improvements. Vehicular snatching, theft is down from 256 to 176 cases daily. Violent robberies in a city of more than 20 million people is reduced to just less than one incident per day. Detection rate for street crime has rose to 81%. In Kacha area, 31 hardened criminals were neutralized in this current financial year. 400 dacoits were arrested. 775 honey trap abduction cases prevented, and kidnapping cases reduced from 35 to just 7. Our war against narcotics has yielded significant results in 24-25 with 18,000 plus drug-related cases registered, 21,700 people arrested, 83 FIRs lodged for drug peddling on campuses, 33 online drug dealers are arrested. We are not only arresting criminals, we are defending the future of our youth. In the counter-terrorism sector, we have made 42 strategic arrests and operational the CTD Fusion Center. The Sindh Smart Surveillance System S4 now operates on 42 toll plazas with artificial intelligence-powered cameras. Highway Patrol project covers 40 beats, soon scaling to 2,153 kilometers with 1,900 officers and 92 patrol vehicles. For traffic reforms, we are introducing faceless e-ticketing with 550 cameras, and this will reach to 1,300 cameras by December 2025. GPS tracking cameras, enforcement and mandatory driver education, 100,000 plus e-driving license issued in 3 months. Demerit point system introduced for repeat offenders. These are the steps that we have taken to modernize traffic reforms. To strengthen justice delivery, 50 crime units have been deployed, 215 plus investigative officers trained in modern forensics, police station record management system now linked to courts and labs. Experience in investigation is now a criteria for promotion. Strengthening the police recruitment and welfare. So we've done more than 25,000 recruitments, 8,000 officers have been promoted this year. Health insurance scheme for 15,000 plus staff and rupees 4.96 billion support has been provided. Shaheed package now ranges from rupees 23.5 billion to rupees 70 million. Rupees 1 billion already dispersed as compensation. Police station empowerment infrastructure, 31 police stations launched, 3.7 billion devolved directly to police stations. SHOs and sub-investigation officers designated as drawing and disbursement officers for localized decision making. We are witnessing today, what we are witnessing today is not just police reforms, it is a fundamental transformation. Our streets will inshallah be safer, our forces more capable, and our communities more secure. So on the IT side, we initiated the People's Information Technology Program, and I'm glad to inform you that 14,565 students with market-ready digital skills have been trained in IT. This has been done in the three institutions, the NED University, Mehran University and Sakhar IBA. More than 40% were females in Sakhar and 62% in MUET, Mehran University were from had rural participation. In phase 2, in the next financial year, we plan to train 35,000 students. So the major financial commitment for education in the current financial year was rupees 7.5 billion for free textbooks. We have kept rupees 5 billion for the next financial year. Rupees 15.6 billion spent by a Sindh Education Foundation, enhanced to rupees 19.1 billion in the next year. Rupees 800 million for girls' school stipends, 2 billion for school furniture, 1.2 billion for school management committees, 4.2 billion for Aspire program. Next year it is going to be 5.5 billion. 34.6 billion spent on higher education. Next year we've increased it to 42 billion rupees. Rupees 26.3 billion for educational development projects. 8.7 billion for early learning and rupees 5 billion for secondary school rehab. So the notable achievements are early childhood care and education policy with UNICEF support, introduction of student attendance monitoring system, adopt a school program where 202 schools are adopted by 94 parliamentarians, 1,302 new school buildings completed, 5,243 schools under restoration post-flood via World Bank ADP. So we have also completed the first census of private school, enforcing 10% free-ship policy, benefiting over 16,350 students. These interventions underscore our commitment to inclusive and equitable education under SDG 4. Sir, I'll move on to key achievements in water conservation. In our drive for water efficiency, 24 lining schemes covering 299 miles were completed, conserving 478 cusecs of water, enough to irrigate an additional 250,000 acres. A further 36 schemes of 506 miles are underway, valued at rupees 36 billion. Sir, we are looking to climate resilience and emergency response. The province has witnessed 6 major floods in the past 12 years, including the devastating floods of 2010 and 2022. To enhance resilience, Sindh launched the Sindh World Bank supported program, Flood Emergency Rehabilitation Program, with a total cost of rupees 61.57 billion. Key actions include 26 new ADP schemes in estimate was 34.92 billion, updated regional flood risk plans for left and right banks of river. Our government is currently executing multiple strategic projects with international partnership and domestic financing, including the Sindh Barrages Improvement Project, the Sindh Resilience Project, the Sindh Water and Agriculture Transformation Project, the Makhi Parash Link Canal Project, Shahid Benazir Bhutto Sweet Water Project, Solar Tube Well Installation Project, linking of Kalri Bagar Feeder, Upper and Pinjar Lake. So in the Works and Services Department, our performance is that we took a massive portfolio of 800 schemes under the annual development plan with a total allocation of rupees 55.19 billion, of which to date rupees 48.5 billion has been successfully utilized. Key milestones include 326 schemes to be completed by June 2025 and 2,957 kilometers of road network to be completed. Through collaboration with Federal PSDP, we are doing 5 major roads which include the coastal highway, the Rodi to Guddu Barrage, 150 kilometer improvement of roads, dualization of Kandoalaya to Tando Mohammad Khan Road, construction of additional carriageway around Mehran Highway from Nawab Shah to Ranipur, improvement of road from Sangha to National Highway, which is a 221 kilometer road. So the ADB-funded flood emergency assistance program, we are rehabilitating 45 roads totaling 773.71 kilometers. So these strategic investments in connectivity, economic corridors, and climate resilient roads will not only enhance mobility, but will also foster equitable development across rural and urban Sindh. Sir, now I go to a green mobility, dignity and green innovation in the province of Sindh. The People's Bus Service is now recognized as a flagship urban transportive initiative in Pakistan, and it continues to expand its footprint across Sindh. During financial year 24-25, we achieved the following. Geographic expansion, PBS routes have been successfully expanded to Mirpur Khas and Shaheed Benazirabad, while additional coverage was added to existing corridors in Karachi and Ladkano. Asia's first ever women-only pink bus service is working in Pakistan, in the province of Sindh, operating 28 plus buses across 5 dedicated routes. We have improved feeder network. 20 additional buses were introduced across various feeder routes to improve last mile connectivity. In digital transformation, an automated fare collection system has been implemented, enhancing transparency and commuter convenience. Ridership has increased to over 41 million passengers this year, averaging 120,000 daily riders, a testament to its reliability and growing public trust. The government is supporting it through fare subsidy of rupees 1.5 billion, fuel adjustment support of rupees 1.2 billion. Total per rider subsidy stands at rupees 67, making urban transport truly accessible for all. So another initiative that we took was about the EV buses. This was a green leap forward. This year we achieved historic milestones in our EV bus service initiative. Karachi routes were expanded. We launched 3 new EV routes, bringing Pakistan's first fleet of 50 electric buses into successful operation. Scaling up through innovation, 100 new 12-meter EV buses are approved under rent-to-own model to be launched by July 2025. 34 compact 9-meter EV buses are also arriving soon and will begin operation in July 25. 5 double-decker electric buses will be operational by July 25, enhancing high-capacity commuting in major corridors. So we are actively working with private sector partners to roll out a fleet of up to 1,000 electric buses for urban mobility across Sindh. The People's Bus Service and our EV Transit initiative are not merely transport projects. They are social equalizers, economic enablers, and climate-smart investments. They reflect our resolve to provide safe, affordable, and environmentally sustainable mobility for every citizen of Sindh. So I will move on to promotion of sports and cultural activities. Culture and sports not only brings joy, but also fosters national unity and pride. This year we allocated rupees 4.7 billion to preserve our cultural heritage, promote literature and arts, and organize major sporting events. Highlights include the third Jeep Rally, hosting of squash and boxing championships in Karachi, special recognition for Olympic gold medalist Arshad Nadeem and World Boxing Association champion Shahir Afridi. In cultural diplomacy, World Culture Festival Karachi 2024 was a monumental success, bringing together 450 artists from 44 countries and attracting over 180 million global viewers. The upcoming 2025 edition will host performers from over 100 nations, strengthening Pakistan's global cultural footprint. Programs like Almi Urdu Conference, Pakistan Literature Festival, and Arts Council initiatives are giving rise to cultural renaissance in Sindh. For the next year, we plan to hold the National Games in December 2025, and inshallah, this will be an event which will be a truly successful event which we are planning for December 2025. So for empowering persons with disabilities, we want an inclusive Sindh in action. The Government of Sindh strongly believes in empowering persons with disabilities by ensuring their full inclusion in the fabric of our society. This year, an impressive rupees 4.8 billion has been spent on programs dedicated to welfare and rehabilitation. To overcome mobility barriers faced by children with disabilities, the government has facilitated procurement of specially designed vehicles for pick and drop services, enabling secure access to additional and rehabilitation centers across the province. This initiative reaffirms our inclusive and child-centered approach. We are expanding our Center of Autism Rehabilitation Center. Following the success of our first C-Art Center, we have significantly expanded. We now have 3 new C-Art centers in Karachi, a center in Hyderabad, one in Gambat, one in Nawab Shah, one in Sakhar, and the one in Larkana is near completion. In the next 3 months, inshallah, 2 new C-Arts will become operative in Tando Muhammad Khan and Karachi Central. Plans are underway to establish C-Arts in every district of Sindh, ensuring accessibility across all regions. New special education centers have been set up in Kiamadi, Daud, Moro, Noshero Feroz, Rattodero, Larkana, Hatto, Mathli, Tambar and Shikarpur. Rehabilitation has also been carried out for our centers in Sakhar, Korangi, Karachi, complexes in Gulistani Johor and Mirpur Mathelo, and inclusive parks have been built in Malir, Landi and North Karachi. By the close of the current financial year, 2 new schemes will be completed. An inclusive park in Clifton Block 5 and rehabilitation of PD and ID Center in Larkana. The Sindh Institute of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation is recognized. SMPR has now been transferred from health to the DEPD department. This enables more dedicated service delivery for persons with disabilities. We have major expansions underway in our SA, IIPM in our Nawab Shah, the one in Larkana and the one in Karachi. These units will start operating in July 2025. For the Grant and Aid program, the government allocated rupees 2.9 billion supporting over 10,500 children with disabilities by partner NGOs. Key achievements include rupees 986 million establishing 20 new centers and expanding 15 existing ones. Rupees 400 million for assistive devices benefiting children with mobility or learning challenges. Rupees 1.5 billion provided to NGOs and government institutions through the regular budget. So we have also formed a Directorate of Inclusive Education. We have a fleet of 23 vehicles for accessibility which have been procured. Our inclusive parks and infrastructure with an allocation of 80 billion, we are constructing parks for special people in Clifton, Saudabad, Landi and North Karachi. This inclusive roadmap reflects the Government of Sindh's unwavering resolve to build a barrier-free opportunity-rich society for all through infrastructural expansion, inclusive education, targeted mobility solutions and support to non-governmental organizations. We are not just creating facilities, we are restoring dignity, hope and potential for every child and individual with disability in Sindh. Sir, our project of Sindh People Housing of Flood Affectees is now a world-recognized project through the efforts of our leadership, especially Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, who has enacted the vision of Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto of Roti Kapda of Makan. We have under construction more than 850,000 houses affected during the flood. Almost 500,000 are under completion. Rupees 128 billion was spent in the current financial year. More than 1.3 million bank accounts have been opened for direct disbursement. The entire world is talking about the success of this project, and we've got requests from other provinces to replicate these projects in their provinces. And Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has directed us that the Sindh People's Housing of Flood Affectees will implement this scheme in the province of Balochistan and in the province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa for flood affectees. Sir, I'll briefly talk about the public-private partnership initiative. Sir, our PPP portfolio is now valued at an impressive rupees 625 billion. It is a testament to the vision of our leadership. A remarkable rise from just rupees 6 billion in 2010. This diverse portfolio spans education, healthcare, roads and bridges, water, energy, transport, IT, industrial and economic zones, agriculture and forestation. These projects are at various stages of development. Rupees 190 billion worth of projects are currently under construction. Projects worth rupees 365 billion are at investor solicitation and feasibility stage and expected to be awarded by early next year. In the current fiscal year alone, an expenditure of rupees 65 billion has been incurred on PPP projects. Our star project, the Sharai Bhutto Expressway, the first segment of Sharai Bhutto Expressway was inaugurated by Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari in January 25 from Qaidabad to Shah Faisal. And I'm very happy to inform this House that the Karyumabad to Qaidabad section is ready, and inshallah ta'ala it will be inaugurated and opened for traffic tomorrow, the 14th of June 2025. And the remaining portion up to M9 is scheduled to be completed by December 31st this year, and inshallah it is on track, and we will provide this scheme for the people of Sindh by December 2025. The M9 to N5 link road, initially only 7.2 kilometers, was in operation, and now by September 2025 this entire length will be in operation. Apart from this, in the PPP we are doing the Marble City project, the Bhotki Kanpot Bridge project, the Jaika Rehabilitation School, the Rani Bagh Hyderabad project, carbon emission through forestation, the NED Technology Park. Apart from that, we are spending rupees 70 billion in Viability Gap Fund for the next year. International arbitration mechanisms have been approved for transparent dispute resolution and to align with global standards. Amendments to Sindh public procurement rules have been enacted to expedite processes and promote fairness, particularly for unsolicited proposals. Mr. Speaker, sir, our PPP framework has evolved into a powerful tool to unlock value, leverage private sector efficiency, and accelerate public service delivery. The model exemplifies the Sindh government's commitment to inclusive, sustainable, and innovation-led growth. Sir, we had started this year with an unprecedented development portfolio of 959 billion. Due to the lower collection by the federal government and other issues regarding inflation and high project increase, whereby the projects had to be revised, we have released the date, and we plan to release 666 billion rupees, and inshallah ta'ala we will catch a development spending of rupees 600 billion this year, which will be an all-time high. Sir, the provincial expenditures have been proposed for the current financial year to be rupees 2.9 trillion from a budget estimate of rupees 3 trillion. The current revenue expenditure is revised and is now pitched at rupees 1.86 trillion against current year's budget estimates of rupees 1.9 trillion. The current capital expenditure has been proposed to be rupees 237.9 billion, showing an increase over current year's budget of rupees 184.8 billion. The increase is due to surging rupee-dollar parity within the range of rupees 276 to rupees 282 per US dollar, raising the expenditure towards repayment of foreign loans. The estimates of investment activities have been revised to rupees 198.2 billion as compared to the budget. I have already told you about the development expenditure of 2024-25 and in the current financial year, for provincial development expenditure stands at rupees 817 billion, which includes 392 billion from provincial ADP, rupees 55 billion from district ADP, and rupees 296 billion for foreign project assistance. So the province's own receipts in the current financial year is largely reliant upon, so the province is largely reliant upon federal transfers. In the current financial year, the revised estimates of federal transfers have been proposed at rupees 1.79 trillion compared to a budget estimate of rupees 1.9 trillion. So 104 billion rupees have already been deducted by the federal government from our share. Therefore, the revised estimates for divisible pool stand at rupees 1.623 billion as against the budget estimate of 1.747 billion. The revised estimate for straight transfers are rupees 129 billion against a budget estimate of rupees 6 billion. So for our own resources, our three departments, the Sindh Revenue Board is going to collect more than 300 billion rupees in this year. The Excise and Taxation Department is going to collect almost 200 billion rupees cash, apart from the bank guarantees that are submitted, and the Board of Revenue will collect about 30 billion rupees. So the non-tax revenues have been proposed to be at rupees 51.5 billion. So for the next financial year, the budget outlay for provincial expenditure for year 2025-26, as I said earlier, is rupees 3.45 trillion. This marks an increase of 12.9% over budget estimates of the current financial year. I will very briefly present the components of current revenue, capital and development expenditures. Budget estimates for current revenue expenditures have been fixed at rupees 2.15 trillion, which is 12.4% higher than budget estimates of 1.9 trillion for the current financial year. The increase is mainly due to inflationary impact on the operating expense, enhancement of grant and aid to non-financial institutions, including hospitals, public sector universities, local councils, necessary salary rise in shape of relief allowance to government employees, and raise in pension expenditure due to increase in pensions. Highlight of budget is 2025-26, where I'll just talk about the major departments. Education sector, we are proposing an expenditure of rupees 524 billion against last year's budget of rupees 458 billion. For primary education, the allocation is being enhanced from 136 billion to 156 billion. For middle and elementary, it increased from 36.2 to 42.7 billion. For secondary education, 68.5 billion to 77.2 billion. For college education, we are increasing by rupees 5 billion. The proposal for next year is rupees 39.53 billion. For higher education, we have kept the budget of rupees 42 billion for next financial year. So for the differently abled persons, the DEPD department, we are increasing the provisions of funds from rupees 11.6 billion to rupees 17.3 billion for budget estimates of 2025-26. Then in the health sector, the budget estimates of financial year 25-26 have been proposed to be rupees 326.5 billion against rupees 302 billion, with an increase of 8% over over last year's budget. This includes rupees 18.2 billion reserved for medical education next year. Sir, on the development side, we started with a portfolio of rupees 595 billion, but due to resource constraints, we have brought and rationalized the ADP down to rupees 520 billion. Therefore, only 475 new schemes have been proposed in ADP 2025-26. These are linked to high priority areas including flood rehabilitation, renewable energy, development in less 5 developed districts, uplift of divisional headquarters, clean water and sanitation. A focused increase of 20% has been proposed for social and productive sectors, while allocation for other departments has remained constant. The budget allocation for major sectors for next financial year are rupees 99.6 billion for education, rupees 45.3 billion for health, rupees 73.9 billion for irrigation, rupees 132 billion for local government, rupees 11.25 billion for energy, rupees 22.5 billion for agriculture, livestock and fishery sectors. Sir, we have a number of schemes for upgradation of infrastructure in Karachi. We are upgrading the Damloti pumping station in Gadab Town, Malir at a cost of rupees 219.7 million. Comprehensive renewal through rehabilitation of sewage water, street lighting in Unit Council 1 to 19 at a cost of rupees 3.5 billion. Strategic improvements in District South, North Nazimabad and Malir, including Allama Rashid Turabi Road, Meva Shah Kabristan and 4K to Gulshan-e-Memar corridor. Road construction and water sewerage and paver works in key UCs of District Malir, Kyamadi and Korangi, cumulatively exceeding rupees 5 billion. In addition, under the Karachi Neighborhood Improvement Program and click parks such as Akbali Playground, Baradari Park in Sadar and North Nazimabad were revitalized to offer safe green recreational spaces. So I spoke about our focus on the transport department. Sir, the Karachi Urban Mobility Project under the Yellow Line BRT work on depots and the Jam Sadiq Bridge is progressing swiftly. The bridge that we are replacing is near completion and inshallah will be inaugurated soon. The bridge that has to be rehabilitated, which is going to be demolished and a new bridge constructed there, inshallah we'll also complete that in the next 10 months. The red line BRT covering 29 kilometers is over 50% complete, with the main corridor scheduled for completion within the next 6 months. We have earmarked rupees 1.1 billion for new diesel hybrid buses and rupees 3 billion for additional EV and double-decker buses under the PBS fleet. So we are working on the Safe and Smart Karachi program. Phase 1 of the Smart City costing 6.6 billion is nearing completion. Inshallah, in the next financial year, we will launch and complete phase 2 of the project also. Major projects slated for completion in financial year 25-26 in Karachi include the Korangi Causeway Bridge over Marir River at N5, Sharai Bhutto and Korangi Junctions, underpass at Karimabad, Gujar Nara flyover, improvement of traffic corridors, development of old city area, improvement of business areas, restoration of heritage markets, construction of major roads and flyovers in Scheme 33 District E, Shah Faisal Colony, Gujar Nala crossing Sir Shah Suleiman Road. These interventions aim to balance heritage preservation, commercial development and connectivity across districts. Even in the public-private partnership area, the Malir Expressway, now called the phase 0 of the Malir Expressway, which will connect the Sharai Bhutto to the port, is being done under the public-private partnership. The 5 million gallon per day desalination plant, TP4 sewage treatment, and EV infrastructure charging will also be launched under PPP in the next financial year. Some more the new initiatives for the next financial year include revolutionary governance with digital tools. We have embarked a journey to digitally modernize SIND's governance apparatus to make it responsive, transparent, and citizen-centric. Centralized KPI monitoring dashboard is being constructed. Live communication tools for senior officers are being made. Blockchain-based land record reforms are being undertaken. Land is not only an economic asset, but also a source of livelihood and dignity for millions. We are eliminating the opaque, outdated, and corruption-prone system of land records by digitally transforming land administration through blockchain. From 12 steps to single-step transaction. Property transfers will now be done in one-step e-transfer system. Tamper-proof ownership linked to CNIC will be made and blockchain integration will be done. Biometric verifications, people service centers, land titles will now be transferred digitally with biometric validation securely integrated with NADRA, FBR and the banks. The pilot implementation in Matiari and Sakkar district are underway. Birth registration revolution, we are striving towards a 100% coverage of birth in partnership with NADRA and Health Institution. We are introducing a unified digital birth registration system. This ensures that every child born in Sindh is counted, cared for and connected to essential services. So agriculture has had a particularly bad year. The agriculture growth in large crops is negative and agriculture has grown at a mere 0.5%. In order to reinvigorate the agriculture sector, we have a number of programs for empowering Sindh farmers. We are launching the most ambitious agricultural reform agenda in Sindh's history. Our vision is clear: transform agriculture into a profitable, tech-driven and export-oriented sector, centered around the small and medium farmer. The Benazir Hari card is our gateway to empowerment. Over 200,000 farmers are already registered under the Benazir Hari card. What we have plans to provide free of cost laser land leveling services for farmers of up to 25 acres, farm machinery support of up to 80% subsidy in laser land levelers, super seeders, solar trolleys, hydraulic trolleys and solar tube wells. The impact we believe is going to be about 30 to 35% improvement in yield and 25% increase in the income of farmers. High efficiency drip irrigation system will be introduced. 80% cost support will be given to over 20,000 acres of high value orchards. Crop supported include mangoes, lemons, guavas, bananas, papayas and dates. We plan to give input subsidies for farmers to cushion our farmers against rising input costs. Targeted subsidies on fertilizer, quality seeds and pesticides would be provided across districts. The Pakistan People's Party-driven agriculture transformation of the public-private partnership model to integrate innovation, stability and value chain development in irrigation. We are going towards rice and wheat farming mechanization process through public-private partnership, cluster farming development projects, again in public-private partnership. We plan to open the Sindh Cooperative Bank to give credit access for progressive farmers. In the education and skill development, teacher-led school-specific budget. This is the first time anywhere in Pakistan where school-specific budget is going to be released, and we've created 34,100 plus cost centers. The finance department and the education department has worked very hard to ensure that financing will not now be available at the school level so that the school headmaster can spend for his immediate needs in the school. Operation budgets will now cover stationery, transport, co-curricular and sports activities, stipends for girls, furniture, playground maintenance and minor repairs. Sir, the assistive device outreach, next year we plan to benefit 40,000 persons with disabilities with this. The monthly stipend is going to be raised from 2,000 to rupees 3,000, including free meals and uniform. Total outreach increase, our plan is to increase the total outreach from 70,000 to 120,000 beneficiaries. Sir, I'll talk about, we are developing youth centers in all districts of Sindh, and inshallah in the coming financial year, youth development centers will be operational in every district of Sindh. Through this initiative, we aim to transform youth into active stakeholders in Sindh economic and social progress, equipped with the tools, training and confidence to lead us into the future. So in the health sector, I'd like to talk about the Sindh Institute of Child Health and Neonatology. This establishment is of 6 new satellite centers in Mirpur Khas, Kambar, Sijawal, Ghodki, Jamshoro and Shahadpur. Sir, SICHN now operates over 700 beds, exceeding the combined capacity of major private hospitals. All the private hospitals put together do not match what SICHN has done. In neonatal intensive care unit, NICU has 262 incubators, making it one of the largest networks in the world, if not the largest. Its pediatric intensive care unit with 114 beds is the largest in Pakistan. So we are going to expand SIUT in Larkana, and rupees 4.5 billion have been allocated for that. The Sindh Integrated Emergency Health Services fleet is going to be expanded from 283 to 508, including 25 rapid response bikes and 12 boat ambulances. Provisions have been made for all of these. 6 new thalassemia centers are being constructed. Installation of vessel monitoring system for our boats for traceability of fishermen at sea is being done. In the local government, I talked about the Damloti. There's a new pipeline that we're going to lay from Damloti to DHA, costing rupees 10 billion. The completion of Hub Canal project, inshallah, it will be completed. The additional canal will be completed in the next few months. We are allocating rupees 45 billion for sustainable development goals, and out of this 50% will be spent to provide clean drinking water and for wash facilities. We are allocating rupees 25 billion for home-based solar system. New initiatives under public-private partnership include West Karachi Recycling Project, the 5 million gallon per day desalination project, carbon emission reduction through forestation, right and wheat mechanization projects, fruit and vegetable cluster development, solarization of schools. So now I would like to talk about the relief measures which are in the budget of 2025-26. Sir, Government of Sindh being cognizant of the hardship being faced by our employees, we are proposing that this assembly approves an increase of 12% in the ad hoc relief of employees of grade 1 to 16 and an increase of 10% for employees of grade 17 to 22. In addition, for pensioners, it is proposed the pensions are increased by 8% in the next financial year 2025-26. The Government of Sindh also proposes to continue with the provision of personal pay to employees between grade 1 to 6 to ensure that they are paid at least the minimum wage. In terms of minimum wage, it is currently at rupees 7,000. The Government of Sindh strongly believes that it's way too low and it has to be increased. What we are proposing is the procedure to do this is through the tripartite arrangement under the law where the employer, the employee and the government sit together. We will strive to get the maximum increase in pay in the minimum wage, and inshallah this will be done in the month of July. So in addition, what we are proposing is that the Workers' Welfare Fund increases the grant for workers, the death grant for workers, the grant which goes to the family of a worker who died, from rupees 700,000 to rupees 1 million, and the marriage grant to be increased from rupees 200,000 to rupees 500,000. In line with our government's inclusive policies, we have proposed to enhance the monthly rate of special conveyance allowance from rupees 4,000 to rupees 6,000 to the differently abled employees. This measure will have an additional financial impact of rupees 14 million. This initiative aims to provide meaningful support to historically underprivileged segment of the society, ensuring greater accessibility and dignity in public service. So the government of Sindh has fully cleared all outstanding pension dues of civil servants who retired on or before June 30th, 2025 with a financial impact of rupees 35 billion during the current financial year. This province-wide resolution executed within the current financial year reflects the government's steadfast commitment to welfare of its employees and sets a new benchmark in public sector financial governance. So I will talk about some tax and non-tax relief included in the budget. So we are proposing that 5 levies be completely removed from the next financial year. These include the professional tax, which affects salaried people, so we are giving a relief to the salaried people, the cotton fee, the entertainment duty, so that cheaper entertainment can be provided to our citizens. The local cess is also proposed to be abolished, and so is the drainage cess. In addition, the yearly tax rate under the Motor Vehicle Ordinance for commercial vehicles is being reduced to mere rupees 1,000, giving much needed relief to transporters and goods carriers. There is also a proposal to end the requirement for third-party insurance for motorcycles, which has been difficult to enforce and causes problems for many motorbike users. Along with these changes, more tax and fee reductions are being proposed to give further relief to the public. These include cutting the mutation fee and sales certificate fees by 50% from rupees 1,000 to rupees 500. The cost of certified copies is also being reduced by 50%, and the fees for solvency certificate and Yashish certificate has been proposed to be lowered from rupees 1,000 to rupees 500. In addition, it has been proposed that stamp duty on third-party insurance of motor vehicles to be set at only rupees 50, making it cheaper and easier to follow rules. Sir, the Sindh Revenue Board is from the next financial year introducing a negative list system. This is as per the National Fiscal Pact with the 4 provinces and the Federation have signed and is in line with the IMF requirements. So from now on, there would not be a positive list of taxable services, but a negative list of services which will not be taxed. Under the existing law, all major services are taxable and a smaller segment of services is not taxable. This situation creates disputes regarding taxability of services, which leads to unnecessary litigation and also problems for taxpayers. Therefore, the decision is being made to conform to negative list regime by taxing all services, but at the same time taking care that essential and social services are kept exempt and that a specific part of new services is subject to reduced tax. Further, to protect small businesses, those with annual turnover below rupees 4 million will remain exempt from payment of sales tax. Among other facilities and reliefs Sindh Revenue Board, proposed by the Sindh Revenue Board under the Sindh Sales Tax The rate of service presently subject to 10% is being reduced to 8%. To ensure general public welfare and to promote third-party insurance vehicles, the rate of sales tax on such insurance is being brought down significantly from 15% to 5%. The exemption threshold for restaurants and caterers is being increased from annual turnover of rupees 2.5 million to rupees 5 million. Other procedural simplifications are also being introduced, such as e-opting for reduced rate services. Also, these steps are meant to create a tax system that is simpler, fairer, and more helpful for the people, while also boosting economic activity and improving access to public service. So we are also proposing relief for lawyers, fraternity, and journalists. A provision of rupees 800 million is being kept as grant in aid for Sindh Judicial Academy to gear up its activities of grooming, imparting training to judicial officers, for lawyer, bar associations, and legal aid society, and for endowment funds for various press club and deserving journalists in Sindh. So for minorities, a provision of rupees 1 billion in grant and aid has been proposed for financial assistance, medical treatment, scholarship, dowry, jahez, marriage, repair and maintenance and construction of worship places and non-Muslim communities. Rupees 250 million has been kept for completion of work of repair and maintenance of buildings and structure of non-Muslim communities. Further, a grant and aid of rupees 50 million has been kept for welfare of poor and deserving populace of Hindu community. In view of surging inflation and increase in cost of living, Government of Sindh, I have already spoken about the minimum wage, so I won't repeat this. So another thing that I wanted to mention is that currently the salaries of the members of the Provincial Assembly are amongst the lowest, as compared to the other three provinces and the National Assembly. We are not increasing the salaries now, but in the month of July, we will rationalize the salaries so that due increase is given to the members of the Provincial Assembly. So in conclusion, I want to state that Pakistan stands at a crossroads today. We have untapped resources, unlimited potential. The key is effective utilization of resources, and utilization is only possible when we all come together for one goal, the progress of Pakistan in a developed Sindh. The roads we take may diverge, Mr. Speaker, but the destination must remain the same. A peaceful, progressive and prosperous Pakistan. And it is towards this destination that the Pakistan People's Party has always steered the people firm and steadfast. Together, we can and must continue to take our provinces and our nation on the path of progress and prosperity. And I am confident that Almighty Allah will guide us in our journey. Pakistan, Zindabad, बहुत-बहुत शुक्रिया.
ताज़ा तरीन खबरों को जानने के लिए हमारे चैनल को लाइक करें, सब्सक्राइब करें पाक जज्बा चैनल।